If they are a little bit more tech savvy, they can be under the real model, and we will help them create a better life and future for them and their family. So I think that's the bottom line here.
Hey, what's up, guys? Today I am joined by, I would call him a friend at this point, but our leader, the CEO of Real, Tamir Poleg. Tamir, welcome. Thank you so much for, actually, when you said yes to this, I was like, really? You could squeeze me into your schedule. Let me say this before we jump in, Tamir. I love spending time with big thinkers, like with big visionary thinkers. And you're at home right now, like I think you said in your son's bedroom. Like it can't get more real than that. And you've got it. You have a family, and you've got so much going on. And I'm inspired by big thinkers. I'm when I spend time with you and others, I'm fortunate to spend time with a couple of big thinkers. It makes me realize that there's another level to what I'm currently doing, obviously keeping the family in focus and all the things that truly matter. But I just appreciate your vision for what we're doing. We're going to talk about this Remax deal. You good with that?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thanks for the kind intro, and obviously we are friends, and great to be here again.
Yeah. Thank you, Tamir. Thank you. All right. So this I got to tell you, I don't know why I had this reaction, but when the news broke last Monday, it was weird. Like I was like shaking. I was so excited. My wife was like, "Hey, like you're here. I need you here." It was a special it was a special moment for me. I've been in this space for 7 years, the industry for 21 years, 8 years actually in the space industry for 21 years. And was really excited about the potential. I know the deal has not closed yet. There's some moving parts behind the scenes, but for the potential of this acquisition, I've been calling it a partnership. But there's been a lot of chatter online. Of course, we expected it, but I want to answer some of those questions and some of the chatter if we can. So let's start here, Tamir. Is the franchise model dead?
First, let me address your excitement on that Monday. Because as you were saying that, I was asking myself, why was Clayton shaking? And I think that the reason why you were shaking, and obviously I was shaking throughout the weekend prior to that, I was waiting for that for a long time to happen. But I think that the reason why you were shaking is because you felt like you're a true partner in this journey. And this is something that didn't happen to the company that you're with. This is something that happened to you as a part of that company. And I think that a lot of agents felt the same way. They felt like this is something that is happening to us as a community, as a partnership. And it's not something that you just read on the news and it doesn't make any difference in your day to day. So I think that a lot of agents at Real just felt the same way, as if this is our thing. This is something that we built. This is a happy moment for us that we worked really hard to get to, and I think that that's important because it tells you something about the community that we're building and the sense of partnership. Now, is the franchise model dead? No, I think it's the opposite. I think that what this transaction signals is that there's room for different kind of models in the marketplace, and we've been following Remax for years now. And I think that what we saw is that the franchise model is not dead, but on this particular case, there's a gap in value proposition. So a lot of agents still choose to affiliate with franchises. Most of the market is franchises. If you look at franchises as a group. But I think that their market share has been declining because of a technology gap, because of value proposition that has been kind of degrading, and because their franchisees are struggling a little bit with margins. And some of that struggle is due to models like ours that just give a more competitive um, choice or alternative to agents. And we thought that while the model is sticky and a lot of agents still need it, we need to somehow strengthen the value proposition. So if you were able to choose the franchise model with the benefits of a tech-forward brokerage, that could be a win-win for those agents who don't wish to be completely, entrepreneurial. They still want office access. They want their broker in the office. It's a type of agents that is attracted to that kind of
Mhm.
offering. So we said, how can we take the franchise model and just make it better? So I think that the model itself is not dead, but it needs some revisions.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some research on chat actually, last week and again this morning, and it's interesting. It's 85% of agents are with a brick and mortar franchise brokerage. The cloud
Right.
space that we are in, the cloud brokerage space that we're in, makes up roughly 14 to 15%. It's growing very rapidly, of course. But I think about and the reason I started with that question is because of all of the comments and the Facebook posts. Everybody's an expert on this acquisition, except for the people that are actually making the decisions. And so
It's
yeah, yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
It's funny because there was some sort of a webinar yesterday by a very well-known consulting company in the field, and somebody sent me the link, the recording, and I was listening to, I don't know, 25 minutes out of the 40 minutes of the conversation, and they were describing why Remax and Real are so different in the sense of, this is not going to work because those companies are extremely different. And I think that what they were describing is two very complementary businesses without mentioning that this is actually the reason that those two companies complement each other. They have what we don't have, we have what they don't have,
Mhm.
and the combination of those two creates just a powerhouse. And I think that people tend to focus on the differences instead of understanding that the differences is exactly the reason to explore joining forces and creating
Mhm.
something which is more complete on both sides.
Well, and
But
I, again, I've just been thinking over the past week about Compass is as an example, and their acquisition of Anywhere, and the proposition there was, okay, so we've built this tech stack, and we're going to plug in, and I don't know if they were offering, we're it's optional, right, for Remax franchisees and for their agents to plug into our technology. I don't know if it was optional for Compass or not. Do you know if it was optional for them, or is it just are they
I
just
think that some of it is optional for them.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not familiar with, the
yeah.
details.
But here was my thought process, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this. The big pitch, traditional franchise brokerage, Compass, right, with technology, and so Remax will now have the option to plug into our technology, and we're going to get into the tech here in just a second. Um, but I was thinking, like, the most recognizable brand in the world, now with the best tech stack, the option of having the best tech stack in the world. When you compare the two brick and mortar models, Compass versus Remax now, you've got a really good option with Remax, who has this amazing brand, and now they're going to be powered by our technology. There's going to be choice. If it's between Compass or Remax, for example, there's going to be a really strong choice over here to plug into the Remax model.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, we're talking at a very high level, and talking about technology in general is very broad. But at the end of the day, we should be looking at the franchisees and the agents that are associated with those local offices, and try to understand what do they need and what is the difference that this merger or combination is going to create for them.
Mm,
And I think that this is what was behind in the back of our minds throughout the process of exploring this partnership with Remax. We were trying to think, on one hand, how do we preserve what they currently have? How do we make sure that we don't jeopardize anything? We don't jeopardize the brand. We don't jeopardize the culture, the productivity, the immense productivity of their agents. But at the same time, how can we offer them something that some of them might feel like they're missing? And how can we do that in a way that is not intimidating. We
Mm,
should make it optional. We should somehow um, expose them to the technology and the benefits, and we should have a deep understanding of their day to day. And I think that what distinguishes us is that we run a brokerage. We scale the brokerage from a single agent to close to 34,000 agents today. So we understand the back office operations and the day-to-day operations that the broker owners are actually
mm,
running. And it doesn't matter if you're running an office of 16 people or you have multiple offices and you have 1,500 agents in your
mm,
network. We understand your operations and we can bring that type of scale. We can bring that type of efficiency. We can bring that type of value so that you will be able to go out in the market and attract more agents to your local brokerage based on what we're offering. You can focus more of your time for that purpose just because we free up more time, but you also provide greater value. So you can compete with other models, you can compete with other companies as well. Um, and I think that this is something that people are missing, the understanding that Real has on the broker owners' businesses, on their
mm-hmm,
operations. And
mm-hmm,
this
mm-hmm.
is huge. So I don't know if I answered your question, but this is something that kind of jumped to mind.
No, you no, you did, and why wouldn't, just hypothetically, why wouldn't a franchisee and their agents, why wouldn't they want to plug into the technology? I think at this point.
Because people don't like change. That's the only reason, to be honest.
Mm, mm,
People are used to working in a certain way. Some people use, Excel sheets to manage transactions, and this
mm,
is what you've
mm,
been doing for 25 years. So looking at something different might seem a little bit intimidating. One of the things that we're exploring and very likely to implement is Reason is our tech stack. And Reason is this huge transaction management system with combined with support with AI. We can plug that in into any office, any Remax office, and just take over their entire operations and free up
yeah.
80, 90% of the broker's time. But at the same time, we also understand that this is a huge change. So we're thinking about creating a Reason Lite version where
Mm,
on that version, for agents, you will have Leo, you will have the Real Wallet, you will have the Real Academy. So you wouldn't have to completely, we wouldn't have to completely take over your operations as a broker owner, as a franchisee. You can still offer the technology to your agents without, changing something very massive in your
mm,
day to day. So
mm,
it wouldn't be
mm.
as intimidating as, completely overhauling your business.
You can kind of ease into it if
Correct.
if you wanted to. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if we could just stay on the technology for a minute, Tamir. So one of the things that I've been really excited about from the beginning is our banking platform, is our financial technology product. And it's I would imagine that I'd love to get your take on, obviously you have the agents in North America have the option of plugging into the banking platform. Do you see a global option for agents to be able to plug into our financial technology product?
Um, I wish it was that easy because when you're going into banking, there's a lot of local, rules, regulations, laws that you have to comply with. It's complicated enough in North America,
Mhm.
but I think that there's chance in other countries to try and look into that. So some of our, banking partners or banking as a service partners, they do operate in other countries. But primarily, I think that the focus initially should be in North America, on North
Mhm.
America, and trying to get as many Remax agents on the wallet as possible, and then look at other countries, just because of the complexity of the of operating, a banking platform outside of the US.
Yeah, and just so our listeners understand this, we're talking about a business banking solution. So our technology, you can actually, run your business through our technology, but you can also run your business banking needs through our technology. It's FDIC insured. It's a bank that has a an automation. You can automate the movement of your money, which is built into the banking platform. So you get paid and you can choose a percentage of your money to be automatically moved into a tax account today, which is amazing for most of us as business owners and independent contractors, because we just went through tax time, and it's like if the money's not there because because we've been robbing Peter to pay Paul. But here with our banking platform, if you set it up and you can automatically move 30% or whatever your accountant tells you to do, and it's there when it's time to pay your quarterly estimated taxes, and it's there if there's a big surprise in April every year.
Yeah, and there's obviously more to the wallet. There's the debit cards. We are hopefully on track to launch charge cards as well. There's lines of credits that are based on your business performance. So it's essentially a banking platform where you can actually bank with us and earn points, and those points help you offset some of the brokerage fees. So it's a financial ecosystem around your business
Mm.
based on your brokerage performance.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I think the acceleration of that, if you can plug, you get adoption in North America, and Real is obviously retaining a piece of the interchange fee, and the agents are benefiting from that interchange fee in the form of points. And you already said it, you can use those points to offset the brokerage costs. It's just a beautiful thing. With just staying on the tech piece for just a second, with AI, and I am I started our conversation off this way intentionally, Tamir, because I'm building a property management a tool that is powered by AI that is unique. Nobody's done it before, and I could not do it without artificial intelligence. And so it's opened up all of these possibilities for all of us. But with real estate specifically, where do you see the AI that we have built into our into reZEN, but then also if you can talk a little bit about HeyLeo and our consumer facing AI tool, and how Remax agents and real agents will benefit from that moving forward.
Sure. So we started with Leo on our internal operations, and Leo currently answers the majority of our support calls and support tickets. So saves us a lot of money on, sorry, saves us a lot of money on human labor, and just provides great service because Leo knows what our brokers know. Leo learns from every conversation that our agents are having with our support line. So Leo is this massive real estate brain that is just working for the agents and is just available 24/7. At one point, we decided to explore consumer-facing AI, and we soft launched HeyLeo, and HeyLeo essentially is a conversational AI layer that can plug into consumer-facing websites and have conversations with people that are looking for homes. And that can work for you as an agent if you're doing any paid campaigns, or if you have a CRM or a database full of client information. You can put HeyLeo to work, and Leo will help you nurture those leads, understand better what their needs are, create a profile for each and every one of them, and update that profile every time Leo has an interaction with that client without you needing to do anything. Obviously, you can turn it off, you can interject at any point in time, but we want Leo to be an extension, or Hey Leo to be an extension of you. Another thing that we're now building, and I'll go back to the Remax angle, another thing that we're now building is parallel engines on Leo, where each and every one of those engines will be perfecting one single task. So, for example, there will be one engine for listing presentations. There will be one engine for creating agreements. There will be one engine for social media posts. And instead of you needing to manage different engines, different AI flows, Leo will be the central point where Leo will be managing all of those agents, and you will end up having 20 or 50 different engines, but you will have one focal point where you'll tell Leo, hey, I need this. And then Leo will go and activate that engine that is an expert in that specific task. And this is something that will be available in a couple of months.
Wow.
Remax
Is this breaking
has
news?
this is I'm not sure Pritesh wanted me to disclose it, but yeah, we are
Wow.
building this.
Wow.
So Remax has a website that generates roughly 1 million buyer leads per year, and those are high intent leads. Those are folks that typed Remax.com or Remax.ca. They looked at properties, they expressed interest in getting more information about a specific listing or visiting a specific listing. And we think that Leo can be instrumental in capturing those leads, in warming those leads, and getting them to a point where they're ready to have a conversation with an agent. And we just want Leo to be there on the websites as the almost as a person who's available 24/7, very knowledgeable, and can have that conversation instead of the client having to wait 7 seconds or 3 minutes for somebody to respond. Leo immediately responds either via text or via voice. So we just think that there's a lot of potential when it comes to the Remax operation and our tech capabilities, especially on the AI front.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to touch on mortgage title, as it relates to HeyLeo and the potential to scale that, or just mortgage and title in general?
Sure. In North America, Remax has about 700,000 transactions annually that we can attach title services and mortgage services to. So just think about 1% of that. 1% on the mortgage side equals to about $25 million in revenue. 1% on the title side equals to $10 million in revenue. And those are high margin services or businesses. So the potential of mortgage and title and their effect on our economics once this transaction closes is is huge.
Hmm.
Um, I think that it would be attractive for Remax agents and franchisees to tap into the title JVs and into the Real Originate program, just because it
Hmm.
allows them to make more money out of their existing transactions. And yes,
Hmm.
some people have JVs in place, and some people maybe are making money out of mortgage in different ways. But I think that once everything is in one place in
Hmm.
Leo, and Leo controls the flow of the transaction. And Leo has that relationship with the client, and Leo um, understands what the client needs. I think that combining all of those services under one roof with the agents in the center and Leo helping the agents and having mortgage, title, brokerage services, insurance, home warranty in one place where Leo can immediately give you the quote that you need, give you the pricing, and you can
Hmm.
immediately opt in. I think that that can eliminate a lot of friction and just add a lot of convenience to the transaction from a consumer point of view.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's one of the pieces I'm really really excited about, personally. Okay, so um, let's I'm gonna go here, Tamir, and then we'll wrap with anything that you wanna kind of finish with. So, what would you say? I've had a number of folks either comment on something that I've said about this acquisition over the past couple. It's only been like what, like seven days or 8 days.
Yeah.
Um, and and the comment is Real was created to be the anti-traditional franchise solution. And what is this going to do to the culture of Real? Because we were create this was literally the comments, the anti-franchise. um, that's why these cloud brokerages were created. What would you say to that?
I would say that Real wasn't created to be anti anything.
Yeah.
When we rented our first office back in 2024, um, I went to a printing shop and I got a sign that said, "Always find ways to make agents' lives better."
Mm.
And I glued it on top of the door, the entrance to that tiny office, so that the four employees that we had, every morning when they come to work, they see what the purpose is. So the purpose from day one was just creating better futures for agents in the industry. And that this is still our North Star. So we're not anti anything. We are pro agents. And if those agents want to be affiliated with a franchise, if they need the support of a local office, if this is what they prefer, great. We will help them create a better future under that model. If they
Yes.
want to be more entrepreneurial, they want the freedom and flexibility of running their own business, their own brand, if they are a little bit more tech savvy, they can be under the real model and we will help them create a better life and future for them and their family. So I think that's the bottom line here. And obviously people have opinions and people, like to think about things as wrong or right and black or white. But at the end of the day, we are pro agents. And this move was pro agents and pro the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. No, I love that, Tamir. And I see it. I think one of the reasons I was shaking when I heard the news is I understand the big picture. I think that this is such a bigger deal than people realize. Not only today and as we move towards finalizing the deal, but also 5, 10, 50. Let's have some vision for what this really could mean for agents' lives, for consumers' lives, like everything. And actually, why don't we wrap with this, unless you want to say anything else. Consolidation. So how important do you think consolidation is moving forward? Obviously, you think it's important, but how important do you think it is to the industry and to the and we can just keep it with our agents if you want to real agents and to Remax agents, but it's I don't see this stopping. I think it's going to continue, to be to be a
Yeah.
thing.
So we didn't start exploring the relationship with Remax because we came to a conclusion that we need to have a much bigger scale. We were really happy with our trajectory. We were growing very,
Mm-hmm.
very fast year over year, and we were fine getting to 50,000 agents and 70,000 agents within a few years organically. We started exploring the relationship just because we thought that there's good synergy and good complementary businesses here that and great cultures on both sides. I think that things are starting to move a little bit in the kind of big picture point of view where you're seeing a little bit of movement on, the MLS side, on data side with everything that Compass versus Zillow. I think that there's a little bit of uncertainty as to what the future is going to look like when we're thinking
Mm-hmm.
about, how consumers are going to access information and how agents are actually going to market listings. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that in that sense, we might end up in a future where it is important to have larger scale, just because you might need a seat at the table, you might maybe lead um, some changes out of a place of strength, and in that sense, scale does matter. But we at the same time we might be in the same situation where nothing changes and everybody
Mm-hmm.
lists on the MLSs and all of the
Mm-hmm.
conversation about pre-listings, private listings, all of those
Mm-hmm.
just goes away. So I would say that it's nice to have the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's mandatory, but we might face some changes in coming years or even
Mm-hmm.
quarters that will maybe force more consolidation to happen.
Yeah, time will tell. Any final thoughts, Tamir, about this move?
I mean, obviously, I'm super excited, and I'm excited for agents, and I'm excited for the Remax agents, and I think that I'm just trying to disconnect from the noise because at the end of the
Mm,
day, we spent a significant amount of time studying the Remax business, understanding what's great over there and what we need to maybe fix. And we know what we're doing. And I think that that's important for people to know. We know what we are doing, and everybody is entitled for an opinion. And I understand that the burden of proving is now on us, and I think that it's going to be an exciting journey. But at the same time, I also think that it's really a positive move for the Remax network and the Real network, and
yeah,
hopefully we will be one big happy family.
yeah. Tamir Poleg, thank you so much. I'm honored and humbled to be on this journey with you and the rest of our family, and the rest of our potential Remax family now. Thank you for your time. Have an amazing day.
Thanks for having me.
So I hope you enjoyed this conversation with the CEO of Real Brokerage, Tamir Poleg. It's a lot of things changed, I think, last week, and being able to have a better understanding, if you're with Remax, of what this ultimately this move means for you, and really what this means for our clients. And I think I asked that last question about consolidation, because I do see the bigger picture. I see the because I'm a part of a technology brokerage. One of the things I'm really excited about for our Remax partners is the opportunity for you to see what I see, for you to plug into our technology, for you to plug into our banking platform, to have a bigger ecosystem and more resources for all of us, to be able to utilize this new landscape of artificial intelligence and technology. Did you catch what he said about AI agents and deploying AI agents? I hope you did. And how that will make all of us more efficient and ultimately benefit our clients. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time.